Hello, welcome to this video. Now that we have introduced the different variable types, it's important that we go ahead with a simple application to put in practice and to build on top of what we have learned so far. Our aim is to create a simple calculator, and the first operation that our calculator will be able to perform will be additions. We will build on top on this basic functionality with maybe subtractions, multiplications, and divisions, but in order to do that, we need to introduce other concepts like if statements that is gonna happen in the next few videos. So for now, let's concentrate to create this simple calculator which does only additions. Let's begin. What we do, as always, we open Visual Studio, and at this point we want to create a new project. The new project will be a console app. We click on Next, and we want to name this project as a simple calculator. So as you can see, will be called Simple Calculator. And I name in order things just to make it easy for us. Okay, let's go here, let's go to my folder C#, and I will create a folder that is called Simple Calculator. So all the files will be created by Visual Studio within that subfolder Simple Calculator. Okay, we are happy to click on Next. We want to use Net 9 standard term support and keep everything as it is. We click on Create. Okay, so to start with, we want actually to have maybe the console writing the name of our application, and I will call it Simple Calculator. But then we want also to specify that for now our simple application will perform only additions. Of course, we're gonna build on top of this, but for now, okay, so we want actually to the console to ask us to type a number. Please write a number. I will say the first number. Okay. At this point, we need to add a bit more information. First, we need to define how we need to initialize a variable, and our variable will be, I will call it as starting number, and this will be an integer variable. Integer means we accept numbers, and if we hover on top of integer, is telling us that represents a 32-bit signed value, and the first variable that we initialize is integer my starting number or my number. Okay. And we want to initialize. I will say that to start with, the machine knows that is at 0. Okay. Now the machine, of course, we haven't used this number, right? So we need actually to get more code. So initialization of a variable. Here is and this is the user input. We expect to be an integer, but by default, when we ask the user input, the user to put an input by typing on the keyboard, by default that is a string variable. But for our calculator to work, we need to convert the string that we'll get from the user into an integer, because calculations can be done only if all the variables are on the same page as integers, considered by the machine as numbers and not as text like it is a string. So first of all, we will get the user input, and okay, so the user input will start with the string variable, and at this point the string variable will be user input, and we need and we went through this before, we need to use the function console and read line. I press tab to use this one as it is. Okay, so now we need to use the parse method to convert what is the user input as a string into an integer, because as I want to repeat, the machine can actually compute subtraction, addition, multiplication, divisions only if all the input values are as integer, as converted as integer. So cannot have strings and integers. Doesn't work that way. The machine will not do the job. So at this point we want to introduce another concept, which is when you want to use the parse method to convert from data type string into another data type integer. Okay, here we go. I just copied the text, otherwise it takes longer than necessary. So I want actually to put my number, that is my variable, which is equal, and now finally I'm using my number. That's why till now it's still underlined red, because it's not used, is equal to integer. And now we use the function parse, and as you can see, parse, the parse function is parse UTF-8 characters that are the text that we are inputting, even if it's a number, is considered as a text by default, into a value, so into an integer. That is what we can use for our purposes. So we want to parse what? The variable user input. Okay, so now we can actually say to the machine, we can use console write line, because we want to write something, open brackets as it is, and we want my number which is our variable, and I can put it in brackets, my number equal plus the variable my number. browser brackets, of course I'm learning myself. I had to remove equal my number, so now it's gonna work. You see, all the errors have been removed, and here has to be typed string. Okay, so let's see, let's recap what the software does. At the beginning, writes 3 simple lines, simple calculator, additions only, and also is asking us to write or type, let's make type, that is more intuitive, the first number. Then we have declaration, of the variable integer, so integer, my number equals 0. We initialize the variable my number as a 0. Then we want to get the user input, so we write this string that is not integer. You see there is a mismatch, here is integer, here is string. User input equal Console.ReadLine, so when the console will open, will accept an input. Remember that is a string as an input. Now we needed actually to convert that string into a number, so to become an integer variable, and that will allow us to do the sum as an operation. So we take the variable input, my number, is equal the integer, so is converting the user input that is a string, is parsing it and converting it into integer. So is what it's doing. And then we want the machine to write Console.WriteLine my number, which now has been converted into integer. So let's see if all of this works. Okay, the machine is asking us, please type the first number, 65, enter. Your number is equal 65, so it worked. Great, is a good progress, isn't it? Now I want to make a point. I want to show that the software is only accepting, when it does the conversions, real integers. So we cannot write text as an input, because when the machine tries to convert this text into a number, will crash, because is unable to convert this text hello into a number, as we ask in our software to use integers. Let's see. Here we go. You see there is an unhandled exception. The system, the input string hello is not in the correct format, because it's expecting digits that will be converted into integer variable. Okay, so that's why it doesn't work. But indeed, if we insert a number, it's gonna work. Okay, so I made a point. Another exception is that our application is accepting only integers, not number with decimals. Indeed, if he is asking to insert a number and I put a number which is a decimal, as decimal places, once again is an exception. The machine cannot handle non-integers, like here a number that has digits. So we need to specify perhaps in our application that is expecting only all numbers. So at this point we know, at least the user knows, that in that way is going to work properly if you insert a whole number. There we go. Perfect. Now we want to add the addition aspect of our simple calculator. Just to recap, what the parse method does, converts a string into an integer. Also, why do we use type conversion? To ensure variables match the expected data types. Okay, so now we want to continue with our addition. What we want to do is to make the application more logic. And so after we initialize the first variable, we ask please insert the first whole number, and I will call it here my first number because it makes more sense. And so of course I want to change this into my first number, and has to be everywhere. This is more logical now, because we know that we need two numbers to do our calculations, right? So now we want actually to initialize a second variable that I will call it my integer. Look, my second number. There is a system, intelligent system within the Visual Studio that is predicting what I wish to do. So I can press enter to accept, and we initialize the second variable. And of course now there are two, so we want to initialize of variables as integers. Now of course we want the machine to know, right now doesn't know anything about my second number. We want actually once again the console to ask me to type the second whole number. So I will write here console, and I will ask the machine please type the second whole number. And now what else do we need? We need to do the following: get the user input once again, user input, but this time we don't have to use another declare a string. We can just overwrite the previous user input, and with the new digit that we're gonna put. We do that because the first time that we ask for the input from the user, we already used that value, and there's been now we can actually overwrite it, and there is no problem in that because it's been already used. Now we want to use this string, this code as it is. So I do copy and paste, but this time is my second number, isn't it? My second number. At this point we want actually to say to the machine console write my second number. You see also the variable names are very intuitive, and here my second number. Okay, let's run what we got so far to see how it goes. So please type the first whole number, 34, please type the second whole number, 56. There we go, it's working. Let's continue. Now we need to do the calculation, isn't it? Between the first number plus the second number, and we need to print the output. Okay, so at this point we want to create a new variable which is doing the operation. So we'll write integer, we call it result. I'll call it result sum, okay, because we'll do other kind of results in the future. For now we do result sum is equal, so we have declare a variable, is equal myFirstNumber plus mySecondNumber, as is written by the machine. Incredible. Plus mySecondNumber, right? So tab. At this point we want to write, and once again the machine is helping us, Console.WriteLine, and we can write the result is equal to, and we want here to write result sum, and now we want to close this. Oh yeah, of course, want a comma. Of course I need to close the brackets, right? That's why. You see, it's so useful. And now we want to see what else. So okay, so a comma is there, was expected. Let's see if it works. Type the first one number, 23. Second number, 17. The result is, and it's not written, so we need to fix this one. Let's see how we can fix it. I think to fix it we need actually to put here a plus sign. Okay, let's see if now it works. Let's compile. Type the first number, 15. Second number, 5. The result is 20. So the software is working. Great, I think we have finished for this video today, and I'm satisfied. We can actually finish the video by saying if you are not confident in writing all these lines of code, you should not go ahead. You should actually replay this video and try to code along. That is my recommendation. Bye!